Iron Man 2, right? Just a few things before we start. Budget 170 to 200 million. Box office over 623 million.
Ooh,
Um,
crushed it.
Terrence Terrence Howard is gone now. He's replaced by Don Cheadle. We
For
finally
good
have Sam
reason.
Rockwell, who was supposed to. He could have been Iron Man if they didn't get Robert Downey, basically. So now they brought him back, but they made him Justin Hammer, right?
Excellent casting choice.
Underutilized villain.
Yeah. And then you have Mickey Rourke as Whiplash, and then you have Scarlett Johansson now coming in for the first time as Black Widow. She could have actually been portrayed by Emily Blunt, but she stepped out of the role to do Gulliver's Travels, which bombed. uh, so I guess
Yo,
that really
she
helped
must
Scarlett
be so
Johansson's career.
mad. She must be so mad. Ooh, missed out on a career opportunity of a lifetime. Okay,
Well,
look,
you can
Iron
say
Man
the same
2.
thing about Sean Connery and being Gandalf. Life goes on.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Connery
Iron
could have
Man.
been Gandalf. Look here, Bobo. What conjurer do you take me? Do you take me for the conjurer of cheap
No, no, no. Ian McKellen was the better choice. Let's be
You
honest.
shall not pass.
No, I think Ian McKellen was the better choice. Honestly, let's not.
Oh, I think I just want to say one last thing before Buckmeister comes in. So this is the movie that really caused tension between Jon Favreau and the studio, because there was a lot of things that, like, there was a lot of red tape to a certain degree.
Be right back, guys.
And he expresses that in the movie called Chef that he does afterwards, which is basically like an allegory of what happened.
Brilliant movie. Brilliant
So
movie.
yeah,
I haven't watched that whole. I haven't watched that. I haven't like seen that movie. I need to actually see it, but I've seen like clips of it and everything. Like I've seen bits and
Do
pieces, and the
yourself
bits
a
and
favor,
pieces
but
are
it
really
is
good.
so good.
yeah.
And
So
I've
also,
watched
what
it
I
about
like
5
is,
times.
and also what I like is like I've heard a lot of stuff around that movie Chef and everything. He
Mhm.
like also admits that as much as they were meddling in it, it's like they were worried about like he doesn't hold it against them, which
yeah,
is something I really like Favreau as a creator for. He's like he's not one of those guys where he'll just write off every executive or whatever. He's just like, yeah, you're getting in my way, you're getting in the way of the project, but I understand why. But if you can
right.
just get out of my way, I can give you what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, these guys can't have carte blanche. Do you know what I mean? We've had George Lucas, you know what I mean, with
Right.
carte blanche. We've
Right.
had Ridley Scott with carte blanche.
Right.
It goes wrong. We need someone to at least go, why is this happening? Do you know what I mean? At
Yeah,
No,
least.
but
but I
don't
don't even
overdo
think it
it
was
though.
more about why it was happening. It was kind of just about like we need to get this out. Like the thing is
Yeah.
with Iron Man 2, ne? I don't know if it was Universal at the time, or I don't know if this is where we're transitioning. I think it's
No.
where we're transitioning.
This was
It's where, yeah,
MCU.
it's where we're
Yeah.
transitioning into the MCU. They just spent a lot of money on this thing. Iron Man 1 is a hit or whatever. So they need this to be out as soon as possible, and they're not really worried about all the story elements coming together. Because I'm going to say this about Iron Man 2. There's stuff in here. It doesn't connect all as well as it should. Not all the pieces interlock, but there is a lot of stuff in here. Like for example, they do Demon in a Bottle in this,
Yes,
which
they
it's
do.
not. But I'm saying it's not exactly like the way they the way they like adapt it is like they kind of blow it out of proportion because it wasn't that big of a deal in comic books until it's kind of became a big deal. If you guys get what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I'd have to reread Demon in a Bottle again, but like that run doesn't just solely focus on Tony Stark's alcoholism. Yo, how you say it's core
No.
Alcoholism.
Yeah.
alcoholism, that one.
Yeah, I loaded my
Yeah,
English bundles.
yeah, alcoholism. Yeah, it doesn't really focus on that stuff. But yeah, we get to Iron Man 2. Yeah, they're focusing on that stuff like that. Like Tony Stark may have turned over a new leaf, but he still has very destructive personality traits. Like you can tell that he's trying to right his ship, but it's not that easy. You
Yeah.
know, it's not like he comes off of Iron Man 1 and like he's now on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
No, it's like he's
Mm.
constantly falling off the horse and all of that stuff. And he's like trying to put himself together and everything. And that's
Yeah.
why, like, and also like his relationship with Rhodey in this is that like Rhodey represents a lot of the government.
Yes.
And Tony can see that Rhodey is trying to manipulate him for the government and like coming off of Iron Man 1, Tony has this hard line in the sand about his weaponry. So there's like stuff like that, which is why they end up fighting and all of that stuff and everything. But then also Tony realizes that he needs to put faith in others in this movie, which is why he eventually gives up on keeping the suit away from Rhodey, because he's like, I don't know these other guys, but I know Rhodey. And I know Rhodey's not going to just use this, he's not going to be irresponsible. So
Yeah.
that's why he can like, I'll give this to Rhodey, but everybody else is not getting anything. Justin Hammer also in this is really, really cool. He's the anti-Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But he has as much charisma as Tony Stark. He has as much things, but like his stuff doesn't work as well. But you're just like, I would have loved to have seen you guys go up against one another. It would have been fantastic. And then also Whiplash, right? His setup is not bad. Like the fact that Tony's company screwed over his father, and technically his father created the blueprint for arc reactor technology, but Tony took those blueprints and created his arc reactor. So everybody gives the credit to Tony's brain, but it's something that his father did. And like that left him and his family broke and all of that stuff. So
That's messed up.
so him coming to get revenge on Tony Stark, you're like, yeah, and it's not Tony Stark's fault because this was before Stark was Stark. But like,
But
you're
they
like,
chickened
yeah.
But
It
they
makes
chickened
sense.
out. Remember, because they ended up saying that he was selling the secrets to the black market, and that's why he got deported. They chickened out. They should have just left him as a purely good guy, just to make it more interesting, in my
True,
opinion.
but yeah, true. But anyway, what I'm saying is that there's stuff in this movie. The problem is that it doesn't like Favreau doesn't have time to craft a story because now,
Can I ask the obvious question?
yeah,
How old is Nick Fury?
we don't know. But anyway,
Because
man.
because there's the one scene where they're going through the old footage with Tony's dad,
Infinity Formula, Chief.
and he's busy recording the footage. You could clearly hear that's Nick Fury talking to Daddy Stark.
In the
And I'm
comic
thinking, like,
book, he's around from the World War II, right?
Yeah.
Buck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the war
Yeah.
with Captain America, I think, or something like
Yeah.
that.
What did they
Yeah,
call him? The
no,
Roaring what?
he's there. Yeah, he's there before. Yeah, it's called the Infinity
The
Formula.
roaring
No.
something.
The Howling Commandos.
Howling
Yes.
Commandos. There we go.
oh, nah.
Trivia King, Buckmeister.
When that cat
Comic books.
scratched his eye, it took part of the infinity of the Tesseract and imparted it into
Yo, don't make me sad with the cat. Please, don't.
into
Oh.
Nick Fury's DNA.
Oh, my heart.
is the
I
only way I can
retconned that
explain it.
out of my brain. I retconned that out of
And
my
I
brain.
brought it back.
Yeah,
You
I
will-
will not process
I
that.
refuse to suffer alone.
Yeah. You see, you were my brother, Devilo, but in this episode,
Hi guys,
my enemy.
black don't crack, guys. Come on,
Alright,
black don't
guys.
crack.
anyway, my point being, getting back to this movie, Iron Man 2, 6.9 for me is it's a rating I accept because I still think all the actors are really good in this. I still think all the character interactions are really good in this. You know, Debello, you like to talk eye candy. Like, yeah, Black Widow is forced in this movie, but it is like, hey,
Yeah, you were all what's Iron Man's best friend in that movie?
Rhodey.
Rhodey.
No.
No, not Rhodey. Happy Hogan. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was
I'm-
driving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you,
happy.
you were all looking at her. You were not keeping your eyes on the road. I was the only one like, Drew, you're gonna crash. What are you looking at? Then I realized, oh yeah, Hannah, me.
Hey
that's for me.
man.
I'm just saying. I was watching it for the plot, but also,
Well,
Okay.
the plot is the plot
butt
is very
was-
blunt.
yeah. No, the plot was.
Oh wait, she
thick.
was a redhead in this, no?
No,
Yes.
the plot was thick. I'm gonna tell you right now. They stirred that plot up really nice.
I just want to say, it may surprise every one of you, but Iron Man 2 is technically my favorite Iron Man movie.
What?
What?
Gosh,
happening?
gosh.
Who
Gosh.
are you right
Why
now?
not?
You don't
Like,
say it.
do we
Develo.
even know you?
You don't
No,
say.
you know what? I need the anime speed lines around my face. Nani?
The falling one.
What?
You know who I am right now. Do you remember that Mr. Crab meme? I'm
How
literally
many
the Mr. Crab
fingers?
meme right now.
What? What is why does it surprise you?
No, it's okay. You'll give us your reasons when
Your
it's your
M.
turn.
Night Shyamalan
Zooks,
twist.
what's your take?
For me, I felt this movie, the thing that let it down is it had scenes. It didn't have a structure. It had a lot of good scenes, but the scenes didn't always interconnect nicely into each other. So they didn't, the flow of the movie wasn't always sharp. So I think that's what I mean. There's a lot of little nice scenes, like when like the first time we meet Black Widow, and then Tony Stark asks her to go into the gym, and she does the thing, and then he goes like, "I want one," and then Pepper's like, "No." Like that was a cool scene.
Yeah.
But there's no more cool scenes with Pepper involved. I mean, Pepper's literally running the company now. We don't see what happens to that, you know?
Right.
So we don't see, because we
You
know
see
that,
some of it, but not enough.
yeah, you see, you know, the market is reacting weirdly to it because of that guy's like, Tony Stark, sell yours thing. And he's hitting the cups off his table. But you don't see really anything after that about what's happening with the
Yeah.
company.
Kramer, the worst analyst in the real world ever. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't know if you know who that guy is. He's a real life analyst.
yeah.
And he's famous for having some of the worst marketing decisions in the world. There's even a thing where you can actually bet stock markets on the opposite of his decisions, and apparently it's profitable. But anyway, just trivia.
Yeah, okay. I did. So that's a nice little tidbit. Um, so for me, I just felt it had too many scenes and not enough
No,
structure.
there is a lot of fluff in this, and you can feel that it's the executives. Like a big example was when they had to do the Captain America Easter egg. They were just like,
Mm,
Captain America's coming, guys. He's
mm.
coming. And it's like, okay, but I'm watching Iron Man right now.
Gotta jangle the keys. Gotta jangle the keys.
And then also like Mickey Rourke was freaking dope as Whiplash. He came through. He did his thing. Like that Monaco scene is like one of my favorite
Dude,
scenes.
that transformation scene where like Tony Stark pulls out like I wish
The
they
case.
didn't spoil it in the
The
trailer.
briefcase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
But like for
briefcase
me,
scene.
I was lucky. I just got to see it in the theater because I was like, oh, it's just a Marvel movie. I'm just going to the theater. Yo,
Oh,
that
the trailer.
transformation
The trailer was
in the theater was
crazy,
live.
dog. We were interested
Mark
because of
5.
that scene in the trailer.
It's
No, but I'm
Mm.
saying I feel
that's
like
the
they
Mark
should have
5, by the
saved
way.
it. But I feel like, I feel like they should have saved it. Silver Centurion should have been a surprise in the movie because it was a surprise for me. So that's why also I'm like kind of fond of this movie because I was like, yo, that was one of the sickest transformations ever.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm. And also the Tony and Pepper stuff, there was not enough for for the ending to be what it was for me
Yeah, true.
personally.
Didn't they kiss or something?
Yeah, they kissed at the
Yeah, they
end,
did.
but like the whole time there wasn't really there was like no build up, no tension, no.
Well, I mean, I feel like they did a lot of legwork in Iron Man 1. That's why they felt like they could skip it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you need to
Definitely not.
continue it. I mean, you don't kiss your girl and then you stop and then you want to put it in. Like you still need to continue kissing her and holding her and stuff.
Whoa.
Mark,
Okay.
I could have gone my entire life.
No,
Okay,
you
sorry,
couldn't have.
Tevelo.
It was
You don't kiss
important
your
in
man
the
and then you stop and you want something else and then you come back to him. Are you happy now?
Yeah. Zuko, that's not what's shocking me. Thank you. But
So I just
thanks for
feel
the
like,
inclusion. Thank you. Mutual
hey
trouble for
man.
all.
So I just feel that was because also there was a lot of stuff that was unnecessary that they could have focused more on the Pepper and Tony stuff. You know, they could have
True.
just
And I feel like they should have like as much as Sam Rockwell was in this, I feel like he like Hammer gets too much screen time. Like more stuff should have gone to Whiplash.
mm. And also the interaction between Hammer and Whiplash was nice. So if you wanted more Sam Rockwell, you could have then done more of them because
True.
that they had a good chemistry. So because of that, I'll give it a 6.7. It was enjoyable. It was, but I just felt there was things missing that would have, like, if they just added a few more things, this would have been or if they would have just taken like one or two things here, add one or two things there, this could have been a solid 7.6 without even 7.5 without even trying. But I'll give it a
No, I like
6.7.
it had potential to really be an 8 for me, or even a 9. It could have been better than Iron Man 1, but I just think
Yes.
they meddled, like executives meddled too much. They stood too much in Favreau's way, and they were just like, we need to get ready for the Avengers.
Because also
Like
remember, Tony's still also on his redemption arc, and then he finds out he's dying, and he basically reverts back to old Tony. But then there's really, I'm not sure if I'm misremembering, but there's really nothing that hardcore brings him back to his redemption arc. There's like no Jensen moment that
no, I
hardcore,
mean,
like
I think a
there's
good
moments, but there's not like a true Jensen moment that, like, gives him his will to fight for his humanity. For
No,
me personally.
I'll say what I will say though is that he doesn't relapse fully because he's still a very hard no on weapons, but he does have a lot of destructive habits, and I think his fight with Rhodey, where they almost kill a bunch of innocent people, I think that's part of the thing where it sobers him up that he needs to change. I think
But
that's where
true,
it was
but
supposed
then
to.
that's
But then I'm
where
saying the problem is with the
that
movie
could
is
have
that
been
they
now a
don't.
scene where Pepper comes in,
Yeah, but
and
I'm saying like that's what I'm
that
saying.
would
Like
have built the
we're saying,
Pepper and Tony
yeah,
in.
like
That's
we're
I
saying
think
the
that's my
same.
point.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing is that there's a lot of good pieces, but they don't interlock.
Yeah.
So it's like it feels very it's kind of like it's kind of like with like Zack Snyder a little bit. Like if you watch Batman versus Superman, scenes in isolation are really good, but when you're supposed to watch it in terms of a movie, it's just like this scene has nothing to do with that one. So I
Mm,
don't know why we're here now. So yeah, a lot of that happened in Iron Man 2.
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's just what so yeah, I'm done.
Rob?
Cool. Yeah. I would agree with a few of the things you guys said, definitely. This movie, it does a lot of heavy lifting, but it is like Buck said, but it's distracted, but it's distracted from itself and it comes together in a weirdly slow pace. It doesn't
Mm.
flow nicely.
Yes, the pace as well.
The sum of the parts are kind of a failure. Like you guys said, the individual parts work, but the sum of the parts don't work. In fact, there's a shameless plug, Karate Kid discussion that me and Kutso have, where we talk about a set piece. You guys know what a set piece is, right? In
Mm-hmm.
film,
Have an idea.
it's basically like a collection of scenes where where basically a single event kind of happens. If you guys have
Okay.
seen, a good example would be like the build up from like Spider-Man, which was the third one, Far From Home, or no, Homecoming, no, third one,
No
Some
Way
home.
Home. No
No
Way
Way,
Home.
something with a home, yes, No Way Home, where it goes from them activating the thing, and it turns out to be a trap to Mary Jane's death, like that one scene, and it's like one big momentum flow. There's nothing really proper like that. One could argue the racetrack scene, but there's with Karate Kid, right? One of the things that's so special about the Karate Kid movies, one and two, is that the writing itself is so interconnected and is so layered that even a simple scene is doing more than one thing at the same time. And I feel like this movie, I feel like maybe it needed a couple more drafts or something, but there weren't enough things happening at the same time where we'd have enough time to get all these things done. Because like what Zuko is saying about the romance, yeah, you're right. We should have moved on because there should have been an element of, okay, now that she's CEO and she's not with me all the time, what's the relationship look like now? Do you know what I mean? There should have been more of that. There should have been more of the alcoholism. There should have been more, but because they weren't multitasking, to me, it detracted from the total sum of the parts. It just didn't feel
Well,
right
that's what I'm
done.
saying is that when Favreau was talking about it, I mean, you guys say that they cover it in Chef, and I've seen some scenes from Chef where I'm just like, oh yeah. It's just like executives panicked way too early. And I think the distraction comes from the fact that executives are trying to shove in as much Avengers material as possible. Like one of the things that's a big criticism with the MCU is that they have to advertise for the next movie. And it got to a point where people were just like, I'm going to be there anyway. Why are you trying to advertise this? Like, you got
Yeah.
my money already. Like, I know I know. Okay, like I'm already
I want to
here. I'm
say it, but I'm
seated
not
in
going
the
to say it,
theater.
so I'll
But
be a big boy.
anyway,
It's not my channel. It's not my channel.
Yeah.
It's not my
Well,
channel.
my
It's
turn
not
is
my channel.
basically done. So again, missing parts. And because of that, it had less weight. So I'm actually gonna give it a 6 point. Oh damn, you guys already have, I didn't even see that. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 6.8.
oh, okay, we're not too far off from the IMDb.
Yeah,
Mm.
this one makes sense. The Winter Soldier one doesn't, but this one makes sense.
Dang.
Okay. So just a few things that I actually initially wanted to share with you guys, but um, so I think we did mention that Don Cheadle comes in here. He didn't have beef with Terrence Howard, by the way. They are boys. They've been working together for a while. I mean, they were both in Crash, so it was not a problem, contrary to what people usually say. John Slattery plays Howard Stark in here. And the footage that they used there was basically an homage to Walt Disney videos that he used to do in the past. For instance, one of the most famous videos that I can think of from the top of my head was when he was outlining what Epcot would be. So that the whole reason of that whole thing of him speaking to the camera, talking to Tony in the future, talking about the future and the technology not being great yet. It's Walt Disney, basically. So for me,
I hope he's proud of the behemoth he's created.
who knows? For me,
Well, considering how they handle a lot of the black projects, I think he is.
Hence, I'm looking at the screen.
yeah, look, the other thing that
Dracarys.
I think I didn't mention is Mickey Rock. He was also not happy with this film. He believes that there are a lot of scenes that were cut out that actually
Oh, you can see it. There's a lot
portray
of stuff
more.
that's cut out.
Yeah, so Whiplash had more scenes that I guess you could say really flesh out his character a bit more, and they were cut out, and he was not happy about that at all. But anyway, I liked the movie. I think you guys already mentioned the scene with the boxing scene with Scarlett Johansson. My goodness, I don't think she's ever looked as great as she did there
No.
specifically.
There's some shots in
Never
Avengers.
argue with me again about the eye candy.
Well, we're
Oh, we
talking
hear
about
you.
other
We hear
things
you.
But
also.
no, 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 no. We actually like the movie. You just like the eye candy.
Yeah, it's an addition. It's
an
the main course.
It's not the only thing, no?
Yeah, but
It's an addition.
This man, dog.
you literally lost interest in the movie because they didn't have eye candy. We watched
Yes.
it, and then the eye candy was the
anyway.
cherry on top. So please, we're not the same.
Anyway, yeah,
Is
I
he
think
not like us?
I think Zuko mentioned it
Okay.
already. It's like Pepper's like Tony's like, what is that? Pepper's like sexual harassment or something like that.
A
That's
sexual
hilarious.
harassment case waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
sexual harassment waiting to happen.
Anyway, yeah, man. It feels disjointed. You guys are right. You do have like I would say three main characters: Tony, what's this guy? Hammer and
Flash.
Rhodey, because they sort of like lead the story. Hammer and Whiplash, I'd put them in the same category. But
Okay.
Rhodey, Tony, and Hammer slash Whiplash. Yeah, that's why I think
And
it feels a bit
also, if the
disjointed.
characters are not heading into a collision course, it makes them being going on different paths and then only colliding later, but you don't see the potential collision initially. It makes
Yeah.
it harder to.
Was it?
I mean, the
look,
collision.
I'll say
it's
this.
there, but it's just
Yeah, I'll
it's
say
there,
this.
but it's
They do present it, but I think the thing is they don't flesh it out. Like, for example, right?
yeah.
When we go from hammer robots going wild and about to destroy everything, Sorry. Yeah, when that's happening, and then then you've got Whiplash is over here trying to kill Tony Stark, and those things aren't connected. That's where it's just like, yeah, I can see that this story didn't have time to interlock and mesh. Like if for example, right, Hammer was interested in one-upping Tony, but then Whiplash managed to hack thingy's technology to
Jarvis.
target it. Yeah, not even Jarvis. I'm saying like he hacked
Fuck.
Hammer technology or Hammer tech to go and target thingies, and then basically like he also managed to like basically like you could say Whiplash was trying to sync the entire operation of both parties. To, like maybe there's something Hammer did to him as well, and he's trying to make it look like, yeah, I'm gonna terrorize everybody with this thing and show people how bad this tech is.
Oh,
And
lucky
then
number
there's like a
7.
yeah, and then there's like a collision course there. And like Tony has to figure out how to stop all of these robots from going crazy. That could have been something. But like the fact that the finale even feels disjointed, where you're like, why, how does Hammer connect to Whiplash, or like were they even ever connected? That's where I'm like, yeah.
No, I hear you. I think the battle with Rhodey and Tony, you know, together fighting Whiplash was really great. I think it's for me, it's one of the things that really stood out,
It was
especially
a good fight scene.
seeing how comfortable Don Cheadle is. I mean, Don Cheadle didn't even feel like he was still getting his feet wet. It's like he was already in the first film. You know what I mean? He was so confident. He was so charismatic. I mean, even at the end, while they were kissing, it's like, look, Tony, I'm taking the suit and I'm not even asking. And he left.
Wait,
You
wow,
know,
who was kissing?
Tony
yeah,
was kissing
Tony and
Pepper.
Pepper.
Let me dream. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
The
But
way
anyway,
you said it, it suggested that Don Cheadle and Tony's
Hence, like I said,
I'm
let
just,
me
like,
dream.
I was just expecting that you guys already know what I'm talking about.
Ah,
Clearly, I
Taylor
was
just got a
wrong.
new
Like,
couple now.
new
Clearly, I was
sensations
wrong.
were brewing in my head already. It's like,
New
And the
couple
one man,
alert. New
the one
couple
man,
alert.
the one man that was heroic from the beginning is still getting screwed over because Armor Wars now is
It's cancelled.
another day. My rating for this, I'm with Zook on this one. Immediately when he made this call, I was like, yep, I'm with him. 6.7.
Look, and for a movie this disjointed, it's not a terrible score.
yeah.
look,
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about a 6.7 now is that I think this movie beats a lot of movies that are coming out this year.
Oh hell
It-
yeah!
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
close
yeah.
ass.
No, without a doubt. It's not even a competition.
Phase 4 wished it was Iron Man 2.
wow. Wonder Vision wishes. All right.
Tell them
Yeah,
now,
it's
it's you.
time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Look, I'll keep it short and sweet because I know I'm in the extreme minority. It is my favorite of the three Iron Man movies.
Yo, Shyamalan plot twist. Yo.
Shame.
Let's do it, man. Let's hear this. Take your
Shame.
time, bro.
Yeah, no. Look, you guys are looking at it from, which rightfully so, from comic professionals, from even the neurotypical perspective. Good for an ADHD addict like me who keeps my attention, who needs everything in the universe to keep my attention. This movie kept my attention from beginning to end, even with its disjointed nonsense. Which you are right, it was disjointed. If the biggest issue with a character is that he's not communicating, and that's the one thing that's carrying the plot forward, is then you just know you've got a very bad plot. I'm not going to lie. Tony Stark should have just been honest. Guys, I'm dying.
He's too wrapped up in himself. Like the thing is, Tony is like it's a 12-step program. Like it took a bomb and Yinsen dying to get it started, but he's still on the steps. I mean, we get into later movies, he's still exhibiting some of those same behaviors because he is stubborn.
That being said, now let's flesh out that aspect a little more. But to have somebody behaving crazy by himself and then people wondering, what's going on with him? What is possibly happening? Oh no, come on.
But that's what happens when you have someone that's self-reliant, bro. Like it's like Buckmeister said, his stubbornness comes from the fact that he's self-reliant. For the most part, he solves his own
That
problems.
would have been a
So if he
wonderful
struggles,
thing if they added
Okay.
it to the ultimate final product.
Yeah, he's
Fair
right.
enough.
Right now we're using headcanon. No,
Yeah.
you're right. Tabelo's
No,
right. Right now
it's
we're
not
adding our
headcanon.
own-
headcanon. It's
we're adding
not
our
head.
own stuff.
No, it's not headcanon. They show it in the movie. Like
Yeah.
they do bring it up. The problem is that they
It's
don't
show,
spend
don't
time
tell.
with it.
Yes, it's show, don't tell. It's
This-
show, don't tell.
No, like for
no,
example, that's why with his fight with Rhodey, he's always just like, you guys are trying to like take stuff from me, and he like makes it about himself. And Rhodey is just like, dude, you're in an Iron Man suit and you're like a danger to everybody. And he's like, yeah, but you're just trying to take my weapon. Like Tony makes it about himself because that's the thing. He's been the solution to his own problems. Like he got himself out of the cave. He got
Yes.
himself back
Yeah.
home. They show that stuff, but they
Exactly.
don't spend time with it. That's what I'm saying. Like you
Mm.
see it in isolation, but it doesn't play through the movie. That's one of the issues.
Yeah, so that among many other glaring
Yeah.
problems that are prevalent. But what I did enjoy about this movie, the action sequences, wow, they were fun.
Yeah, some
Oh,
good
they were
action.
too much fun. I mean, you could see the different characterizations in the different in between Tony and Rhodey, even in the way they're utilizing the armor. Look, for an example, when Rhodey's arm was hijacked by Whiplash and everybody was busy, all the drones were busy attacking Iron Man and was trying to fly off the place. You could see even in that situation, Tony was having fun. Why did he have to pause in the middle of a flight sequence so that he can glide and drift over a river while all these other drones were chasing him?
Style points,
Yeah.
bro.
Like, this guy is having the time of his life, and he just
Fighting drones is for tonight, but
I know.
but cool points are forever.
Exactly. Like, oh, okay, there's this kid trying to shoot a drone. Okay, let me land right next to this kid, knock him down, and then make this kid feel like, why?
Okay,
Yeah,
that was
fun-
a cool scene. No fun.
Fun fact, Tom Holland called Kevin Feige to be like, yeah, just make that Peter Parker. Everybody's like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's Peter Parker.
even John Watts. I think John Watts is the director of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
He's the one actually that said it first, I think.
Oh
Then
yeah.
Tom Holland supported, yeah.
So, look, there's so many fun things about this. Even the final fight, even though the ending was sort of like anticlimactic, honestly, I was expecting more of a decent battle.
Yeah,
But
true.
that being said, so many fun things. I enjoyed it. I can rewatch that movie, and that's the one thing that gets me going. I can rewatch Iron Man 2. I can't,
Yeah.
for good conscience, rewatch Iron Man 1. It's still too. Ugh. So,
But yeah, just to support what you're saying, dude, there's a point where this is a serious battle, but Tony Stark is just showing he's just showing off to his best friend. It's like, yo, dude, check this out. And then I
yeah,
think he does like a laser thing.
No,
Yo,
like the thing
what's
is
going
like
on?
basically they're trying to one up each other, which is
Exactly.
kind of funny because I'm just looking at like the War Machine, like you do know you're talking to the guy who built the suit. You're not about to one up, and then like Tony Stark in pure Tony Stark fashion, and this is why I'm like kind of soft with this movie a little bit. But like Tony Stark in pure Tony Stark fashion is like, oh okay, fine, you got some machine guns. How about a super laser?
You know? And then cut down an
and I
entire
think
forest.
I think even like Rhodey is just like, why didn't you just do this before? And he's like, I can only do it once, so I needed to be sure.
So there was
That's
that.
the chemistry, man. That's brilliant chemistry right there.
There's so many other fun sequences. I mean, I also enjoyed the whole Whiplash opening scene, cutting those Formula One cars in half. You could see this bad guy is also caught in his ego, savoring the moment. Had he been focused for a moment, one he could have killed Tony Stark at any moment. But he's
No, I
just
need to make him
savoring,
bleed.
you know, because his job, he didn't want to make Tony Stark a martyr. He wanted to ruin his name. So even in his loss, that's why he was still laughing, because he knows he lost, but
You
ultimately he
lose.
won that round.
Yeah, he won because of the hearing, which was the setup for the thing. Yes.
Yeah. So
Anyway, what's your rating, bro?
well, since you forced me to knock up ON11 from 6 to 7, I'll have to bump this one up from 7 to 8 then.
Wow.
8.
Yeah.
Why am I the only one that's standing to my ground? You can just change those things and make it 6 and 7. Like, I don't understand.
All right, sure.
No. Buckmeister gave me very compelling arguments to bump it up to 7. That much is true.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so in that case, then I really like
He was
9.
listening to his twin.
Hey, dog,
Where
we are
have
on
you
but
been?
I'm saying we are on opposite sides because this is one plot twist for the ages. I
This
did
is what
not
happens
see.
when he spends time with the disgusting Zerg. The Zerg knows who he is.